And we're back to the coverage of the EU WCQ Genesys Championship, and here joined by someone else, which is not Mike. Hello there, how you doing? Huh?
Yeah, really good, really excited. I really love the Genesys format, and it looks like we've got a very, very interesting pairing to get us started off with round number 2. We just got to update some of the information, and once it's there, you'll be able to see exactly what surprises we have in store for you. And someone might look quite familiar who is no stranger to the feature match stage in general, but this time he's going to be taking on Genesys.
Yeah, right. Josh made it sitting at Genesys here on the Friday, which is something very exciting, honestly, you know, for someone like him playing, you know, Master Duel, playing Advanced Format, playing also Genesys. It must be very exciting. And on the other hand, his opponent, Erikas, is playing, you know, very interesting deck, I would say, you know, because we've been mentioning this with Mike as well in the first round. What I really feel like is Genesys has a variety of decks, right? It's going to be interesting to see this weekend the approach of our duelists. And are you surprised a little bit about, you know, seeing these decks being brought?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite excited in general. I think Chaos Origins has really kind of expanded the whole kind of availabilities and the decks. And what I love about Genesys is you start to see decks that you wouldn't mainly see in Advanced as much, which is quite nice. You see a bit more player creativity as well. And you also do get to start to see strategies and combinations that you wouldn't normally see, which just, it shows so much more of the game and how much more you can do with it, which is just absolutely amazing.
And that is great. I really like to see, honestly, also Josh approach to the format, because you know, I think this is the first time I see him playing it. You know, I think it's also worth giving it a shot, especially because, you know, as mentioned, we will be having 8 rounds of Swiss today, followed by other 4 on the Sunday. So he's playing Melfi, which it reminds me of a strategy that has been used in the Advanced format a few years ago. And, you know, it's very interesting, especially because I really feel like I think it's one of those decks that maybe just lately has been seeing not much, to be fair, but, you know, could be for sure one of those that could, you know, catch by surprise, you know, his opponents, for sure. And on the other hand, Erikas with the Fairy Tail invoked, it's, I mean, Fairy Tails in general, I think it's a consistent deck, I would say.
Yeah.
But for sure also with the invoked, it's something that for sure, you know, we would love to see. With just trying to figure out the latest details before jumping into the match. But yeah, I mean, in general, let's just, you know, keep in mind that, you know, our duelists are playing for very nice prizes as well, because both of our finalists will have the chance to advance and go to the Jump Festa in Japan. And, you know, apart from that, you also get your hands on a complete set of previous booster packs. And I also really feel like if you're the winner, you know, getting, you know, the title of Genesys champion of, you know, the WCQ is for sure something to keep in mind. And I really feel like, you know, the format has been evolving incredibly well, especially with the new systems being updated lately. But as you mentioned, for sure, Chaos Origin really gave, you know, the format a boost quite significant, I would say. If there was a deck you would have played, which one would you choose?
I really do like Sacred Beasts. I know we got to see them in round number 1. That's really fun. I just like how it takes you back to the GX era. I think the new cards are incredible. It's a new kind of approach from the deck as well, and it allows them to be very, very aggressive, but they can also be defensive. And anytime you get the chance to kind of elevate your field with level 10 monsters that are gods in the game, that's always something exciting and a very fun strategy to play. The Angelices are quite fun as well, even though there is that little kind of caveat that you're not able to summon to the extra monster zone, because in Genesys that doesn't exist. But it also kind of gives you a bit more of a surprise factor. And I think this is what we're going to see here. And this is the big thing that I love about Genesys as well, is Invoked Fairy Tail might be something you'll see in Advanced. You may see Melfi in Advanced, but very, very less so. So it always gives you a bit more of an edge as well when you're playing a deck that is more considered as an underdog or a little bit unknown. Because if you're trying to transverse from Advanced to Genesys itself, that can kind of give you a bit of an upset here. And I think that's what we're going to see with Joshua's approach to this one. But the Invoke Fairy Tale, as you already say, have got a very strong start. And we're going off with a Mulchummy Perulia.
Here he goes. So Erikas here just first of all needs to understand how to play through the Perulia. We mentioned this a few times already that, you know, for sure hand traps like, you know, the Mulcharmies are impactful. Did he pass?
Yeah, just straight pass. I think his hand is very aggressive in the spell lineup. So I feel that there might have been one monster there that if it was possibly summoned would have given Joshua a draw. And we're starting off with the Melfi spell cards. So this is Melfi Staring Contest. Look at that cute little fluffy bunny. So you reveal a beast monster in your hand to add a Melfi monster with a different name from the deck or grave to the hand, and then place that reveal monster on the bottom of the deck. So it's a nice kind of search and recycle. And the fact that it searches out any Melfi monster, it just gives you a whole host of options, and you just need to reveal any beast monster. So that's where you can start to see that Joshua is getting the brand new, I believe it's the Rabbies.
I really feel like the deck it's very consistent, right? Because you know, you get a lot of names onto the field very quickly, and here, as you mentioned, it gets the Rabbies. So if the card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Melfi monsters from deck to the hand. Then, you know, if you add a normal monster, you can special summon any number of beast monsters from your hand, which is, you know, very good.
Yeah, so this is going to give us direct access to the only normal monster in the deck right now, or the normal Melfi monster being the Melfi Rabbi. And then there's an additional effect off the back of the Rabbies as well, is that it can allow you to fusion summon a Melfi fusion monster. But it looks like Joshua is just going to overlay both of these to make one of the Xyz monsters for the Melfis. And that's quite a nice approach they have, is they have a balance of the new fusion monster, and then they've got the old classic Xyz monsters that are all really, really good, as they can start to ramp up pressure on your opponent. And it looks like we're going for Melfi of the Forest. So this is going to be another search on this one. Detach from the tier to add another Melfi card from the deck to the hand. And at the moment, if you're looking down Joshua's field, if you're Erikas right now, it's not looking so threatening because there's only 500 attack. But trust me, these will start to really, really enter the field at a lot of pace.
Yeah, that's what I really like about the Melfi strategy. I remember in the past, in the advanced format, it was being played with sprites, just because they're all level 2 monsters, and it's very nice because you get a really easy access to your extra deck, and you know, in general, as you mentioned, it can get out of control very easily. You know, once you get them onto the field. So we will soon see if Josh finds a way, honestly, to potentially push enough damage, or just try to be as consistent as possible. And here I think he got the trap card.
Yeah, so the one through the Melfis is that none of the main deck monsters or even the extra deck monsters really take up any points in Genesys. So it allows you to be very, very flexible with the amount of Melfi monsters you can use, and that starts to open up the door, as we've already seen with cards like Perulia, but it can also open up the door to possibly cards like the Dominus. So you've got your Dominus Purges. It also then allows you to play cards like maybe Infinite Impermanences. So even if Joshua was to not complete game at this point, he still has a bit more to fall back on. And the level that Joshua is, he's probably well aware that if his opponent did not play a particular card or didn't play any cards in the previous turn, he probably has a lot of field breakers or field disruptors that would possibly be used here. And that's probably why we're seeing Zeus enter the field of play and being a little bit more conserved with our resources. So this is the brand new Melfi Footsteps. Add up to 4 Melfi monsters with different names from the deck to the hand. So, and then it does become the end phase of the turn, but it doesn't matter if you're going to be using this at a later point in your turn.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really change much, essentially, because you're done with your, you done the Zeus, you set one, and then essentially it's just, But is there maybe a condition why you could have not used that?
Oh, you can't special on the turn you activate this effect except Melfi, so obviously we've gone into Downer than Zeus. Yeah, good catch. Okay, it looks like we're starting off with Book of Eclipse, so that's going to answer the Zeus straight away. Joshua allows the Zeus to get flip face down and then relying on the set card that we now have. don't believe we know what that one is.
Yeah, because essentially he had the playtime surprise, which at this point in time could not be activated.
Yep. So it looks like we're actually going to see Erikas play his second card of the duel, even though it is turn number 3. But this is where it's going to really start to ramp up for the Fairy Tales, unless Joshua has a response here, because we're going to see Fairy Tale Luna, one of the best starters for the deck in my opinion. And even with Fairy Tale Snow being high pointed, depending on how much invoked he wants to lean into, Erikas may or may not play Snow, and that's the best thing about the new support of the Lunalights, is that they don't rely on Snow. It's not a corner piece of the deck, it's just a nice added benefit that you can utilize.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the consistency of the deck is just there, because, you know, with the Fairy Tale Ball, essentially you get to add one Fairy Tale monster or one Fairy Tales from the deck to your hand, and then, as you mentioned, there's the Luna, which is, you know, pretty much the key card of the deck. Essentially, you get to one spellcaster monster with, what is it, 850 attack?
Yep.
From deck to the hand. And yeah, here you just get things rolling, because I think you get the...
Genia of the Ring. Yeah, so it was a great new card as well. So the Genia is, I believe, is a TCG exclusive. And it's just a nice extender as it currently stands. And this is the other benefit. Quite like the Melfies, they don't take up a lot of points in the main deck. The Fairy Tales themselves, apart from Snow, which may or may not be played, doesn't take up any points at all. So again, that allows you to be a little bit more flexible. It's why we do see the Invokes get utilized as a hybrid of this deck as well. And then there was a response from Joshua there, probably stopping the Genia of the Ring kind of resolving. And then it looks like we're going to be using the Rabbies in the hand to summon itself down. And this is where we're probably going to lean ourselves into a bit more field presence.
Yeah, this has always been, let's say, the strategy of the Melf deck, just to interrupt your opponent by using, you know, Melfi monsters that you have in the hand. And then, of course, essentially with the Playtime Surprise, kind of a new card as well, you get to interrupt your opponent. Now, the thing is, does Josh know where and how to stop Erikas? Because he pretty much passed, you know, turn 1, so he may be holding, you know, a piece of combo, and we can see in his hand there's the Book of Eclipses, which at the moment, you know, may not be super useful.
No, it doesn't look like he's ended up with 3 Book of Eclipses, which is not something you initially won early game. We know Joshua knows the monster in the hand. We know that Luna was... Oh no, we don't know that the second Luna was searched, because we searched out the Genia.
Yeah.
It looked like there was an invoked sword in the hand, which is great if you have invoked monster to utilize here, but it definitely looks like we're probably going to go into the Fairy Tale Wiccan. And this is just another great addition to the deck as well. Great rank 4 for the deck. The Wiccat allowing to get a lot of research, because every Fairy Tale monster you control whose original attribute is light, which majority of them are, becomes unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So that can be quite useful to be a bit defensive. And then we're also going to be able to detach up to 2 materials to then send Fairy Tale cards from the deck to the grave equal to the number detached. And because it sends cards, we can start getting a little bit more resource here, which is exactly why we're also going to see the brand new Fairy Tale Machigiru. And that's just going to be another extender to enter the field of play. And this is where the Fairy Tales will start to show their strength, even without the Invokes involved.
Yeah, and here gets to activate the Tales of the Fairy Tales. Very nice. And yeah, as mentioned, this is getting a very good advantage from Erikas here, because you know, once you get very easy access to your Fairy Tales monster here and the engines get going, this will get out of control very easily. And let's see if Josh has any other way of interrupting his opponent, but at this point I think he's just trying to figure out what Erikas' field could look like in a minute.
Yeah, I think as it exactly stands, there's nothing too threatening for that defense position Zeus. So Joshua doesn't really need to act as of yet, but I feel that we definitely have a search, because we've got the search off of the Rabbies, I believe, so I'm not too sure if we've got a Melfi that can enter the field of play during our opponent's turn. Most of it is during their the turn player, the Melfi player's end phase.
Yeah. And I think here Josh tried to activate a spell which has been negated by Teller of Fairy Tales. That can essentially banish one monster from the graveyard to negate a card or effect that your opponent has activated.
Yeah, Oh, and there we go. We see 2 more Fairy Tales enter the field, and that's
Wow.
it. That Joshua's seen enough of that one because he'll get to attack directly, so that defense position Zeus was not holding the fort as much. Very interesting approach there.
Massive turn from Erikas. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's very nice. I mean, happy to see the deck in action, to be fair.
Yeah, I think there's... It kind of also put Joshua at a bit of a disadvantage. So I suppose that was a good thing by Erikas by not playing any card turn 1. Didn't give any information to Joshua. And again, because you're so early in the Genesys rounds, there's no guarantee you know exactly where your opponent is on by this particular point. And sometimes that knowledge is key. So that might have made Joshua maybe end the field a little bit differently had he have known what his opponent was on. And then Erikas did kind of take full advantage, even with a hand that wasn't ideal or... I mean, no one's going to pick the type of hand that Erikas unfortunately did open up with, but played that very well under the Perulia, didn't give Joshua any more advantage. Joshua didn't really present a field of anything of too much magnitude, and I feel that this is the little clauses of particular cards, of Melfi cards, like the one that we saw where we couldn't resolve because we had summoned the Downard and the Zeus, would have been a big point, because then that could have given Joshua a lot more end phase effects to kind of ramp up and go more down the Melfi side. But round 2, or the part number 2 of this one, game number 2, is going to be very, very interesting to see exactly what point position both duelists are, because now Joshua has all the information he needs. Well, I take it back actually. He only knows that his opponent's on Fairy Tail.
Yeah, he doesn't see any book cards. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as mentioned, you know, lately we have seen a lot of field breakers cards, such as, you know, Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters. We have seen Evilly Matched as well. There's Darkhold. So all of these cards have been played a lot. There's Book of Eclipse, which Erikas is main decking. So it will be also interesting to see the approach with the side deck. So just maybe switching the Mole Charmers for other phases of interruptions. But yeah, for sure, as you mentioned, now Josh knows what he's up against. Yeah. Not entirely, because, you know, it's that has to be seen. But yeah, now Josh will go first in game 2.
Yeah, so just going back on the side there, something that I'm actually really excited about, which we might see in Erikas bringing in on this one, it is a card that is similar to Dark Hole, but had point reduction and actually utilises cards that a lot of people fear in the Genesys lineup. But it looks like Joshua has opened up a full hand of monsters, and definitely being a Ravi's is one of the best ones you can start with. And then looking over at Erikas, doesn't look like there's anything as of yet. The Ravi's is going to resolve here, and I feel that Joshua, well, you definitely can't make Zeus this turn. Yeah. So I feel that we're going to see a full Melfi end field here.
It really depends on his hand. Looks like a lot. Yeah, it's full monsters. Depends on which monsters it drew into. Yeah, here this is the puppy.
Yeah, so obviously Erikas is going to be reading this along with us. So if your opponent normal or special as a monster except during the damage step, quite important sometimes, or if your opponent monster targets this particular card, being Puppy, for an attack, you get to return it to the hand, which is quite a lot of what the Melfi strategy wants to do, and then you get to special summon any level 2 or lower beast monster from the deck directly. However, during your end phase as the Melfi player, you get to special summon this card from hand for free. So you're just going to allow to enter the field of play, and it's exactly what Josh has done here. He's just got 3 Melfi monsters into the field of play right now. And this is where we're going to start probably seeing some reactions of returning monsters to the hand. And that is the card I was talking about.
My.
That interrupted Kaiju Slumber.
Oh, wow.
Very, very powerful.
That's huge.
Yeah. Incredible. Especially in a format with Genesys where Ash Blossom is a bit more of a premium because of the points allocated to it. It is incredibly powerful to kind of clear a field off. And even give yourself an incredibly strong monster as well, which is what we've seen here. Oh, and there's the other brand new card, Regulus. Yeah. Wow.
What a hand is this? Because, yeah, this is something that you don't really see often. Like, when you see monsters in different position, you usually think, yeah, maybe about Lightning Storm not be available. And then it comes this. So it's, yeah, Josh is left with just 2 cards in hand, which, you know, are Melfi monsters. So it will be pretty much a witness in this turn.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this speed up quite a bit, especially when we saw, unfortunately, Joshua did open up all monsters, and none of those were interactions from what we could see, bar maybe some of the Melfi monsters themselves. But I feel that we're going to, especially with Regulus being in the extender, Genia also being an extender as well, we still maintained our normal summon. We're going to be able to go into the Wiccat. The Wiccat, we saw how powerful it was in game number 1, and there is the fist bump straight away from Joshua. He sees the writing on the wall. That interrupted Kaiju Slumber is massive.